This is going to be a guide on how to lose 50 pounds and how I did it a long time ago. And just for context, I know I make a lot of content about cameras, but this also relates because you're always on your feet for camera work, whether it's events, portraits, or in general, just doing any kind of project. You're usually on your feet for that and you need to be in the best health. I also think that it's really good to make yourself look the best when you're out in the field with clients or just in general. So you can feel better when you're taking photos and you can actually move around. Now, for anyone who wants to see it visually, this is what I looked like before I lost my 50 pounds. And I'm currently doing to keep the weight off and build muscle. So watch till the end because I'm going to be putting information all throughout the video. So watch the video all the way to the end so you can get all the information. When I was younger, I used to eat a lot of food. A lot of it being processed and not very good for myself. Things like Jamaican patties, burritos, and the typical chocolates and a bunch of other things. Now, obviously, these are not great for you in any regard. And a lot of those things, while they're very tasty, are very fatty. They're very butter filled. They're not good for you in the long run. And with me loving those so much, I would have probably one patty and one burrito every day coming home from school. In elementary, primary school, etc. Again, that happening every day, you're probably having at least 50 to 60 grams of carbs in that meal alone, and then along with that I'd probably eat something else as well. So I mean, yeah, I was piling stuff on pretty easily, so it was not great. Now obviously at some point I became pretty big, as you saw in the photo. I put on a decent amount of fat and even developed man boobs, or some may know it as gynecomastia. I'll put a clip of it on screen so you can see exactly what it looks like before I had a big change. So that's what it looks like when I had that. And I'm going to talk about gynecomastia a little bit later on because this has something to do with it. But again, I'm going to talk about the weight loss first because that's really what came first. So as I was trying to lose weight, I was on my university's campus, and my parents let me stay on residence, which was great because even though we were nearby, it was a really great opportunity to build life experience. So as the time went on, especially that year, I didn't have much to do because I was very new to the university. So many people who were extroverts obviously made friends, and anyone who was more like me, who was very quiet and timid, pretty much stayed to themselves. So I didn't really know many people. So on the campus, I made a few friends, obviously, just somehow, because they came up to me, and that's how I just became friends with them. They're still my friends to this day, thankfully. So there's a friend that went with me to the gym every single day. After we met, we just became really good friends, and we went pretty frequently. Like I'd say probably 2 hours every single day. We were committed to it. And he was like and he was already like pretty ripped and all that, but for me, obviously, he was kind of training me, but also it was just fun to go together. So we would go and obviously do weight training and do all that, and that would help a lot to build muscle. So that's how I got my wider body in terms of actually like my shoulders and my like whole frame. That's probably how it developed. Now I know I haven't really talked about the weight loss yet, but again, I'm getting to it because this is all really relevant, because it might work out for you in that sense that you might need to go this route rather than quickly lose the weight and then put it all back on in terms of muscle. Okay, so now let's actually talk about the weight loss since I just mentioned it. Along with all this gymming, I'd go into the cafeteria because I had a meal plan for my university. And this card basically had money on it to eat. Now, obviously, I can get whatever I want in there because the meal plan's prepaid and etc. I could get chocolates, anything in abundance. But somehow something triggered in my mind to do the right decision and go along with my gymming and get salads. These salads contain a lot of good things like vegetables, so carrots, tomatoes, and obviously lettuce and things, etc. Lettuce, cabbage, etc. And these were really good because I didn't really pay attention to the labels back then, but they probably had no carbs or little to no carbs, and they contained a pretty decent size of chicken, which is fantastic because the chicken was probably the best part of it. I'm not gonna lie, they were kind of watered down, and sometimes if they got a little bit close to expiry, they were really not fun to eat, but I didn't waste any of them, thankfully, so everything was done. But okay, so that's what I did to get along with that. Now, obviously, as time went on, I lost weight because, again, I was not eating many carbs, and any snacks I would eat would be like almonds or at the time oatmeal cookies, which, I mean, they are filled with carbs, but again, if you have a little bit, like maybe half a day, you'll be fine. So after that, let's just fast forward a few years, because after I had lost a bunch of weight by then by just repeating that for that year alone. Now, what I did is to lose another additional 10 pounds on top of that. I used keto. Now, keto was great because it allowed me to take out a lot more carbs and really substitute a lot of different things that made sense in my life anyway. So some of those things were like almond milk. Now, almond milk, if you have tried it, it tastes like cardboard. Now, it's not a good taste, but it's definitely something you acquire over time, and I've learned to actually like it because you are getting the unsweetened one to minimize the amount of carbs that you intake. So that's something that allowed me to acquire the taste and really get to mixing it with other things to make that taste a little bit better. And even with cereal, granted cereal is not the best in terms of carbs, but at least it helps take out the carbs from the milks because they're synonymous in a way. So I do that, and then I frequently eat almonds. They're filled with nutrients and they have literally no carbs. Peanuts are really great as well. Again, try to get the most natural one because those are the best. One big one that I don't think many of you will expect to actually work if you're feeling really hungry and you just want to eat something but you don't want to literally like get something, a full meal or etc., is have 2 spoons of peanut butter. Now peanut butter is really good because it's thick, so it really allows your body to digest it a lot slower, and in general it just makes you feel less hungry as soon as you have it. So I've loved doing that, and when I'm hungry, especially when I'm trying to do keto, lose weight, that allows me to do so much and gives me so much opportunity to eat things down the road. It means I didn't have to worry about eating carbs or something that's not good for me in that time frame. Also, another good snack that I've recently been having a lot more is celery peanut butter. Now, again, celery, great because most vegetables do not have carbs, so you don't have to worry. But also, peanut butter itself, has its great capabilities, and that's something that you should really use. Now, one really good meal that I have that is something that you all are gonna probably cringe at. You might think it's disgusting or whatever, but personally, I really love it. Or what I call a cluster. Literally, that name self-explains the entire meal. It's literally hot dog, peanut butter, maybe some vegetables, and egg, and cheese, and plum sauce, and ketchup. You can see how this is really synonymous with the name. So, yeah, that's a really good meal, but it's surprisingly tasty in my opinion, and also it just is really filling too. And as far as I know, that doesn't really contain much carbs at all, if anything. Now, obviously there are a few things to avoid, but there are some substitutes that you can make that will allow you to still have that fun that you want, but also not go crazy either. Chocolate is one of those things that I absolutely love.
Chocolate! Chocolate! Chocolate!
If you can't acquire the taste, go for at least 70 to 99% chocolate. Now, this is going to taste bitter, but it is going to be very good for you. And it's not as good in terms of not having chocolate at all, but if you are feeling like you want to have chocolate, this is at least a good substitute that will allow you to feel better that you're having chocolate, but you're not actually having something that's super unhealthy for you. It's because milk chocolate and other types of chocolate are really processed, and they have a lot of extra stuff in them that pack them with carbs, pack them with a lot of different things that you do not need in your body if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to literally cut down on things. Try to minimize salt as well, because salt is going to be something that makes you more hungry, and in general you're just not going to really have to have a need for it, because a lot of meals, honestly, I don't really feel that have much need for them. Some obviously do, but go ahead with whatever makes you feel better. And lastly, try to have a ton of water. Water will make your life so much easier because, one, it really does not contain anything because it just doesn't have any properties of carbs or something, etc. But also in general, this is gonna be great because it fills you up. So if you have this before most meals, it'll fill you up so you don't feel like having a second bowl or second plate. And it'll just mean that you feel more full fast and you can have it literally guilt-free. If for some reason we don't want to have plain water, just cause, then maybe put a little bit of those flavorings or something, because those at least will put a little bit of sugar, a little bit of flavor, and that might be okay. But I do recommend trying to at least acquire the taste of normal water, because water's everywhere for the most part, and you can also do a lot with it, and it's just much easier. And actually, bonus, I'm going to throw this in because I haven't done it yet, but I think it'll be really great, is get an ice shaver. There's many on Amazon or other places where you can get them. And they are literally going to take any ice cubes that you make, you put it in, and you shave the ice so that it creates like a mini meal. Or you can put it into a drink and make it kind of like a Tim Hortons ice cap, or, those slushy drinks or something. Why this is good is because it thickens your drink, but also it's ice. So at the end of the day, it's still water. so you are going to be feeling like it's more full, but you're not putting a ton of things into it. And again, put flavoring if you want a little bit, but at least you're not putting a ton of other stuff in there that's going to add to calories, like, you know, chocolate sauce or other things. That thing, you just have to be very smart the way you do it. But again, this is the way I've done it to get the most out of my body and the stuff that I eat. Actually, sorry, there's one more I forgot, which is egg whites. Now, egg whites is great because they don't have many carbs because of the yolk, so you're putting a lot in there, and the egg whites may have a little bit of protein, but also they are going to be filling, so you are going to get the satisfaction of having eggs, but not having to realistically go crazy with carbs and stuff from the yolk. Hey, if you're still here, this video, click it. I think you'll really like this video right here. Click it. If you're still here, type "I made it" in the comments. I want to see who made it this far. Okay, I'm gonna go. Peace.